Hey guys, this is Jacopo from GMT. Welcome to our second Speakeasy video. Today we're gonna talk about F.P.Journe and his latest Résonance watches. A lot of people think that F.P.Journe is from Switzerland, but he's actually French, from Marseille. After studying the masters of the 19th century at his uncle's atelier in Paris, François-Paul started to create his own timepieces, taking inspiration from high-end traditional watchmaking, but with his personal reinterpretation. He perfected them in Journe's way. You have to think of F.P.Journe as a modern Breguet. He is technical and practical. He preferred to reduce the number of components in a movement rather than adding more, which makes perfect sense. Less components means less lubrificant needed, less energy waste, and more accuracy. Of course, it's much more difficult to remove components rather than adding them. That's also why he's considered a genius. His vision of watchmaking have always been the same since the early stages of his career. They have never overproduced, his watches have never been overpriced, he chose very few selected points of sale in the world, like GMT, and he never compromised his integrity with discounts or else. Journe continues his search for chronometry, or correct time measurement. And that's why his first and second piece are the tourbillon and the Résonance, two mechanical systems developed for the highest chronometry performances. Until Janvier begins to experiment the physical phenomenon of resonance in pendulum clocks during the 18th century, while Breguet introduced the caliber that was using the resonance in a pocket watch, a project resumed by Journe himself in 1983 that apparently didn't succeed. Years later, Journe managed to solve the reliability issues of his resonance movement, and finally in 2000 presents the first prototype at the Basel World Fair, a wristwatch with a movement inspired by the architecture of Breguet's pocket watch. He will then start the production right after the fair. In watchmaking, the resonance phenomenon is used to increase the amplitude, which is the secret for a watch to run properly. The wider the balance wheel oscillation, the more stable time measurement will be. Two balance wheels resonating tend to stimulate each other's amplitude, which result in a more regular time indication. To take advantage of the resonance, a watch must have two identical movements integrated in one caliber, featuring two barrels delivering the same exact energy. All the elements have to be of the same weight because the tolerances are the smallest. Every mistake can compromise the performance of the watch. The two balance wheels are not physically connected one with the other, and they are put at a specific distance in order to be isochronos. Winding the watch will also help you to understand how the resonance works. At first, you will start to hear titik-totok, which is the sound of the two escapements that are not yet synchronized. After just a few seconds, they will enter in resonance, and you will notice that the sound changes to tick-tock, tick-tock. Until 2019, the Chronomètre resonance caliber has never changed. It was made with two twin movements, two barrels, two gear trains, and two regulating organs. The crown for winding and setting the time is at 12 o'clock, right in the middle of the two barrels, while at 4 o'clock there is a small crown to reset both second hands. Are you wondering why? Towards the end of the charge, the push from the barrels is no more sufficient to keep the balance isochronous. That's why when the watch will stop, you will see that the seconds are not aligned. The problem of the first resonance was the practicality. The winding crown at 12 o'clock inspired by the Breguet pocket watch is absolutely not comfortable to handle, especially when winding the watch. In 2020, to celebrate its 20th anniversary, F.P.Journe introduced a new resonance with an upgraded movement. First of all, he moved the crown from 12 o'clock to 2 o'clock, but to do so he had to change the entire winding system. The new movement has just one big and powerful barrel instead of two. The energy coming out from it is managed by a differential gear that divides it in half and drive it to two constant force devices, remontoir d'égalité, that will always give the same force to the two regulating organs. This way, Journe was able to create the resonance without two twin movements. On the dial, we can see again the two symmetrical subdials of the first versions, but at the center, for the first time, there is an opening to see the differential pinion. And at 12 o'clock, there is a perfectly centered power reserve indication. The dial is made of gold and can be salmon or gray, while the subdials are made of silver surrounded by a steel frame. As of today, the Résonance is one of the most sought-after references in F.P.Journe collection. If you are lucky enough to enter in a waiting list, you have to wait no less than 18 months to get one. Together with the Optimum and the Tourbillon, the Résonance is one of the most representative watches in F.P.Journe history, in the evolution of mechanical watchmaking, and in the continuous quest for perfection. Thank you for watching the second Speakeasy episode. Subscribe to our social media channels and stay tuned for more videos. Ciao!